and with that, you must have read my mind because I'm about to introduce this amazing man. Like everyone, I'm sure you guys have probably seen him. He's pretty famous in the community. He's been around for a while, and he is just such a man of integrity. He has done so much for so many people. Every single time somebody has met him, they're always talking about how much good he's done for them. And he is so passionate. He is showing people what's possible when he puts his mind to something and works hard. And I love the journey that he is on. He has his own production company. He's working on a film, and he is just really breaking the glass ceilings and showing everyone what's possible. So with no further ado, let's have this amazing speaker share with us his gifts and his wisdom. And thank you so much for being here. We're so lucky to have you.
It's pretty cool. Whoa, how's everybody doing? Awesome, thank you very much, Shine and Crystal, for inviting me. This is actually the first talk I've done in 4 years. So how many of you had a little bit of a shift in your life when COVID hit? Thank you. And how many of you were able to overcome that and either reposition yourself or find something else to do? Yes? Thank you. So first of all, my name is Kieron Sweeney. I'm pretty well known as an international speaker. I traveled with one of the largest personal development, motivational training companies, business success training in the world. I've trained all over Europe, Asia, South Africa, Australia. Actually lived in Australia for a year, and all across Canada, United States. And I've trained, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people now. And I've been in front of audiences of up to 8,000 people. But you know what I really like is the small audiences, because I can see you and there's no big bright lights flashing in my eyes. So, but I had a really great journey. I've been doing public speaking now for 20 years, but from 2006 to 2012, I was really fortunate to work with this company, and it gave me opportunities to reach a lot of people. It allowed me to perfect my skill, my speaking skills, my ability to teach and start to impact people's lives. Because just like what Brittany was saying, she had an experience at 18 and she wants to go out and help change other people's lives. And that was a journey I was on. But I started my journey at 31. You see, at the age of 31, I was running this business and I had done about $500,000 in sales the year before. And then a recession hit. And all of a sudden, my clients weren't paying me. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't paying the people that I had to pay money to, including the bank. So all of a sudden, my business was spiraling out of control because it was a really bad recession. It was way back in 1991. So I found myself at the age of 31, sitting on my bed, rolling pennies to pay a bank loan. And it even got better. I had to move back home with my parents. Raise your hand if you're 31 or somewhere around 31. Are you living with your parents? No. Good. So, but it was a reset for me. And then I met Bob Proctor. And I spent a week with Bob Proctor and a few other speakers, and it completely shifted my life. I came home, I resigned from my job, and I went into my business full time, and I said, I am gonna do this. And within a few years, I had paid off that bank loan. Within 8 years, I had made over $1 million, and I was on my way. So how did I do it? I did it because I shifted my paradigm. Now, a paradigm is a set of beliefs. That's all it is. But it's embedded in your subconscious mind, and most of you have personal development training, so I'm not going to repeat it all. But basically, you're running a paradigm right now, and everything you're doing in your life, every single day, every moment, is based on that program. And so what I had to do is completely shift the program. I didn't believe in myself. I was scared. I didn't like picking up the phone to make a sales call. But when I realized that I had value and the product or the service I was offering was going to be of a benefit to people, then I started to shift. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. How many of you here are in the wellness industry? Raise your hand, please. Awesome, thank you. And how many are in a different industry? Excellent. How many of you are earning over $100,000 in revenue? Is your business doing over $100,000 revenue? Raise your hand. Thank you. The rest are under 100,000, yes? All right, is there anyone making over $1 million a year? Anybody? You are? Excellent. Why? Yes? Okay, but why? Why is it doubling down every year?
The backers, we market mobile apps, so apps do a lot.
Okay, right. So what happened with his business, he's marketing, you're marketing or developing? You're marketing mobile apps. So timing was his big advantage. COVID hit and it created a market where he could market mobile apps because people are sitting at home looking for something to do, right? So, but he took advantage of it. But he also knows that he has something that has value, yes? And he brings that value. So raise your hand if you believe that your product or service can impact thousands of lives in a positive way. Raise your hand. Thank you. So the question is, if your business, your product, your service can impact thousands of lives in a positive way, why are we not making $100,000 in revenue? That's the question. Do you want to change it? Raise your hand if you want to change it. Awesome. So the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to change your vibration, because there's somebody out there that needs your product or service. Every day people are walking by you. They need your product or service. Every day someone's reading a post on social media. They need your product or service. But you're not reaching them because the vibration is not in alignment with where they're at. And this is science. This is what I learned from Bob. Bob was saying, Kieron, if you really want to be successful, you're just going to have to sell. And you're just going to have to sell believing that that product you own is going to impact the life in a positive way. That's all he said. And that was my paradigm shift. Because if I didn't believe it, why was I doing it? But when I was out there at trade shows and selling it, I was excited. And I was doing really well. But I had to amplify it. And so I had to raise my vibration. I had to become more excited about what I'm doing. Now, a lot of you here are healers, yes? Wow. All are healers.
You just don't know.
You're healers. What an amazing gift. Some of you have got a gift, God-given gift. Some of you developed it. But you've got a gift that can impact a life in a positive way, right? So it is your duty, it's your dharma to go out and promote it. Sell. I know the four-letter word, S-E-L-L, it just, nobody likes selling. But I don't sell. I have never sold. What I do is I share what I do, I let people know what I do, and then I just let them make a decision. But if I don't promote it, and if I don't get the messaging out there, nobody's going to know what I do. True? Would you agree? So, how do we get over this hump? How do you turn whatever revenue you're doing right now and 10 times it and 20 times it. The most effective way is to share why you do what you do. Now, Brittany's talk was powerful, yes? She was full of excitement, yes? But what happened at the end when I asked her a question? What happened? What's that? She got more excited, but her delivery was very different. Did everyone feel a connection? See, I got her in the last minute of her talk. I got her. And that's what we have to be able to do, is share our story, tell people why we do what we do, and communicate it effectively. Now, there are 3 ways to communicate really effectively. The first is to stand up like me, like Brittany, like Deidre, and Dr. How do you say? Tomek. And share what you do. Now, a lot of people don't want to stand in front of a room and speak. Raise your hand if you love public speaking. Excellent, that's good. And raise your hand if you want to be like a world-class speaker. Awesome. See, I wanted to do that. I wasn't driven by ego to do it. I was driven because I wanted to teach people and allow them to experience a breakthrough in their business, because I was able to do it with the help of others. And so I went out and I hired a coach. That coach taught me how to become a public speaker. I then hired an acting coach, Julie's right here, and she taught me how to connect with people on stage. She taught me how to deliver a story, to tell people and share stories, because I've always found in speaking, promoting, and marketing that sharing the story is the most effective, most powerful way to communicate. Would you agree? Excellent. So what I want to do now is I want to peel back some layers. And so I'd like to have a volunteer who's willing to come up here and work with me and allow anybody with blue hair should be on stage. What's your name?
Me.
Janine, I'm Kieron. It's a pleasure to meet you. So are you comfortable standing or do you want to sit?
Okay.
You good? Awesome. So Janine, what is your business? Just describe it in, 2 sentences.
2 sentences. We enable people to take action in their own lives to better their health and their well-being through movement and asana, meditation, Reiki, and counseling, with our main pillar being mental health.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. So now you said we, is there a bunch of you or?
My studio manager, Jhala, is here as
Sure.
well.
All right, Janine, right?
Yes.
All right, Janine, so why do you do this? What's the reason?
I love helping people. To make a long story short, I hit a rock bottom and yoga saved my life. And I wanted to facilitate that and be the hand that I needed to reach out to me when I was in my rock bottom. So the mental health aspect is huge for us. So.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
So why is this important to you?
Important to me. By not only bettering myself and working on myself along my journey, I can bring others with me, and I want to extend more health and wellness within our community. So to create more of a thriving community. We're in North Delta. We're not from Vancouver.
Okay. Why?
Why what?
You want to do it?
I think that if we can make an impact 1 person at a time, that will have a ripple effect, and by extension, just create more happiness and health within our community.
So why is that important to you?
It's important to me because I have a really traumatic childhood, and I want to ensure that I can be a safe space for those who seek it and all are looking for what we offer.
So if it's not too personal, why was that traumatic experience in childhood so meaningful in your life today? Why is it so meaningful that's led you to do what you're doing right now?
Long story short, there was sexual abuse as well as a very abusive father. And my growing up, we were really poor. I come from a lot of lack. And so I am in the process of shifting that perspective within myself, like you were talking about. And I'm really vulnerable and open with my story with people. I am in recovery. I'm 6 years sober. And I'm open with that with my community so that our little aisle of misfit toys of all of us are maybe a little bit broken, we fill each other's missing pieces, and we want to facilitate that for the rest of our community.
So once again, why do you do what you do?
It fills my cup. It makes me feel like I can feel love in my heart directly from source, directly from within, that I'm learning I am love, and that and my love language is, to give to others. So I do it because it fills my cup, it fills my soul, and I feel like after somebody comes up to me and tells me how they've been going to class or a workshop or a Reiki session, I light up and I just feel like I'm Care Bear staring all over the place. And I've actually, since the reset, the NOAA reset, I literally am walking around with my heart open, and it's just like, and I'm like, oh my God, can I just stay here?
Thank you. One question.
Yes.
Why do you do what you do?
Well, I'm passionate about it. What is my why? I keep answering why for other people, but why for myself would be, it gives me purpose. And to be able to help others is just, yeah, like I said, it fills my cup. Maybe I am missing my why without realizing it. Are you gonna ask me why again?
Pretty much, yeah. So Janine, I'm gonna ask you one more. You said something that it fills your cup.
Mhm.
What does that feel like?
It feels like I'm vibrating in every cell of my being, and that my heart is just on the outside of my body, and it feels good.
Good. And so when you feel good,
Mhm.
how do other people feel?
They feel good too.
They feel good too.
Yeah.
So it's a transference of energy, because when you're aligned with your purpose and you're feeling that you're helping people, even though you're helping yourself, or we all are, but you're feeling that you're helping others, and there's a transfer of energy, and people will start to follow you. Yes.
Right.
All right. And what have you, in doing that, what are you doing? What do you believe you're doing when you have that feeling and other people are feeling the same thing?
I believe that I'm improving their day, their life. There's a that energy exchange, that it benefits them. It helps them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you agree that when you're working with people and you're raising their vibration, that you're in frequency with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So what I'd like to do right now is have everyone stand up. First of all, give Janine a big round of applause. Okay. So each of you, I know, can relate to exactly what she said. Yes? Because you're all doing it because it's aligned with your purpose, you have a mission, and you want to help change lives, you want to do that. But in order to really get it up there, you've got to start to raise your vibration. Because everybody in this room can earn $100,000 a year. It is not difficult. It's just, you have to be willing to go out there and promote it. And by sharing with people your story and why you do what you do is going to help raise your vibration. Because when you raise your vibration, you're just going to attract more people to you. Would you agree? All right. So just to give this some kind of visual perspective, I'd like you all to take your hand and go like this. Do that. Louder, please. Okay, and raise your hand higher. And raise it higher. And higher. And say, I'm vibrating. I'm vibrating really low. I'm an amazing vibrator. Turn the person beside you. Give a high five and say, you're an awesome vibrator. I only do that because it makes me laugh. So, anyway, have a seat. Thank you. Okay. So Janine just shared with me and you why she does what she does. And I think in the process, we got a little deeper into Janine, yes? So when you're sitting in front of a client, or you're posting something you're doing a video to post online, really get connected with you and who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. And be vulnerable. Don't be bullying. Like, I moved at home with my parents at 31. You think I'm proud of that? But there's a reason I did. And it served me. So what I'd like you to do right now is, I'd like you to get into pairs. So just person beside you, just touch them and say, you're my partner. Okay. And what I'd like you to do is 1 minute each, share with the other person why you do what you do. So raise your hand. One person raise your hand, your partner A. Okay. Partner A, choose a partner, A or B. Okay, partner A, you're going to go first, and you're going to share in 1 minute why you do what you do. I'll tell you when to stop. Please begin.
I do what I do because it energizes me from and
that's my experience when I do in the middle of the pandemic. And so I walk away with a warm
I've been a killer in my family. I have so many different traumatic experiences.
I also like that fun and
People and
I take people my experience and
So, in your proposal, there's a lot of okay, if you haven't switched to partner B, please begin. If you haven't switched to partner B, please stop. Wow. First walking you watch him go through the latter parts of life, somewhat miserable, but he needed to know him personally, passed away, talking to his family. We learned a lot about his relationship with his father, that his that father son constant cycle. my experience that I've got 4 kids, 3 of them. One it's about want to create that story because it's not just real. So I want to continue that's the pain. Like I overcame that. Here's my you might still come around at some point. I reach out. All right, thank your partner, please. Thank your partner. Okay, please give Janine a big round of applause. So while you were all sharing, Janine and I dove a bit deeper into why she does what she does. And do you want to share that now? What we came?
Let's hear it.
You want to hear? Here, take mine.
I do what I do because I don't want anyone else to go through what I've been through. And that's the long and short of it.
Perfect. So we got a little deeper and we use the word pain because a lot of people have pain, emotional pain, and they don't want other people to experience it. So it's part of her healing journey. And a lot of people are on that journey healing others because it's healing themselves. And there's nothing wrong with being open and public about that.
Yeah.
And people, your sales will skyrocket when you start coming from your truth and coming from where you really are. I was sharing with Janine, today I'm producing a film. In 1956, a gentleman by the name of Milt Campbell won the Olympic gold medal in the decathlon. Nobody's ever heard of him. Why? Because he was Black. He won it in Melbourne, Australia, came back, got no recognition, no endorsements, nothing. And he went through his life with that bitter pill, if you will, that he didn't really get the recognition. Now, he went on and enjoyed a business career. He became a motivational speaker. That's when I met him. I met him at Bob Proctor's seminar in 1991, when I was in my life. But being broke and living at home, somehow I mustered up $5,000. I think I borrowed it from somebody. And I went to California, spent a week and met him. And he became my friend. Now, here's an interesting thing too. I remember going back to my room, throwing everything down, ran down to where we're having lunch, came into the room, or sorry, it was an outdoor patio we were all sitting on. It was in Pasadena. And there was Milt sitting down at a table, big guy. And there was an empty seat right beside him. And I just went beeline for that seat. I sat down and we became friends. We became each other's mentors. We spoke on stages together. And so when he passed away a few years ago, I approached his family and said, you know, I'd really love to do a film on Milt's life and edify him. But what's interesting is through this journey, I started to see a pattern in his life. Working with our writers, we've discovered a pattern in his life that was very much consistent with my life and probably a lot of other people's lives. And there's a dynamic in the father-son relationship, his relationship with his father, his relationship with his children, and the children's relationship with their kids today. And it hit me like, boom. Because in 1991, when I realized that my life was going out of control, it had nothing to do with not wanting to be successful. It had nothing to do with the economy, the recession. It had to do with an unresolved issue that I had with my dad. And I fixed it. And so this film is not just about a man who was Black, who won the gold medal and never got recognized. The film is, yes, going to edify his life, but it's more about bringing that personal development experience that we all have in life, going through, overcoming issues with our loved ones, especially our parents, and healing it. Because until we do that healing, we're never going to be healed. And it's about forgiveness. And even though if a father or a mother has passed on and it was unresolved, you can still resolve it in spirit. Yes, you can. And so the film is going to touch on that. And that's the message we're going to convey to the audience to build relatability. Yes, it'll be about the raw success of a man winning the gold medal and other things that happen in his life, but that through line is going to be the relatability. And so why am I doing the film? Because I feel it's important that we heal our unresolved pain with our parents, with our children, and everyone that impacts our lives. And forgiveness is going to be a big part of that film. And so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing it. So, any questions?
Yes,
Milt Campbell. Yeah, you Google him. You know what's funny is when we started to write the treatment, we Googled him, and there were 627 views, and it's 60 years later, 70 years later, and there was only 627 views. So we actually filmed that on the computer because that little piece will be in the film at the beginning. But it just amazed me that nobody really knows about him. But the film will help do that, help edify his life. Yes.
You do is you teach speakers how to speak on stages and stuff.
I used to, but I'm not doing it anymore. If you want to learn to be a great speaker, talk to Julie. She's amazing. Highly recommend her. She coaches TEDx speakers, Pecha Kucha speakers, actors. She doesn't promote herself, but I do it for her. No, but she's really good and very affordable. Yes.
So you mentioned about like the frequency that you're on and how you connect with other people who are also on that frequency.
Yes.
And I know a lot about that. I volunteer with radio communications, and you can't hear anybody if you're not frequency, right? So I definitely agree with you. So my question is about once a person is healing others or helping others to relieve their pain, they might be on a frequency where they're healed. Do you have any tools, tips, or tricks about how to step onto a frequency of the people who are seeking that because they're actually in a different place, or like how to, get through that threshold to a frequency where, people are seeking that, but they're not quite vibrating on that. So they're not such a good vibrator.
They want to be healed. They don't want to feel pain. So exactly what Janine's doing, you don't have to be at their frequency. You got to be at the frequency where they want to go. Does that make sense? So you need to stay at that higher frequency. Now, when I talk about vibrating and putting it in the context of promoting yourself, being out there, messaging, like speaking about it, promoting it on social media, that's raising vibration. That's attraction. That's going to attract people. And people that are seeking help are going to connect with your message. So they're going to connect with your story. And they subconsciously, they know what they want. And if they feel and trust that you can help them overcome where they're at, where they want to go, just the way she did it for herself. I guess you got help and guidance along the way, right? But look what it did. It put her into a business of service to help others. And so you will raise their vibration by working with them and using your gift, your skill, and eventually you'll bring them to where they want to be. Does that answer the question?
Think so. I think what I'm understanding is that they're seeking that higher vibration. So they're kind of tuning around, listening for it.
Mhm.
That you gotta just be loud on the frequency you're on.
Yeah.
If you keep quiet, you're not gonna hear you. Right?
Exactly,
Okay,
because they want to be helped.
so you're gonna broadcast that state.
If somebody doesn't want to be helped, they're not going to seek the help. They're going to stay in their misery and their victim, and they're going to drink alcohol, they're going to do drugs, and they're going to do whatever they do until they're ready. And when they're ready, they'll bounce back. They'll come out of it. Everyone has to hit their bottom. Everyone has to find the reason that they need help. But they're not going to find you if you're really quiet. Right? So we have to promote, we have to speak. I highly encourage you to get out and speak more. Deidre talked about it. Deidre came and worked with me several years ago. Look what she's doing now. I think when I met her, she was doing about 25,000 a year. Now I think she said she's doing like 250,000 a year. That's pretty good, right? And I taught her to do this. Share your story. Share your opinion. Because people will, if they believe that you can help them, they'll follow you. And don't forget, not everybody's gonna put up their hand, but the right ones will when they're ready. Another thing too that's really important is, I don't know what you guys charge, but most people undercharge for their service. And what I do with a lot of clients is I say, position yourself in a market where people can afford your service. I get all my clients to double, triple, quadruple their pricing. Because one of my attractions when I had the academy before COVID was, I'll show you how to double, triple, quadruple your income in 6 months to a year. Most of them did it in under 90 days, and it was really just raising the price. But understanding that you have value, right? But the other thing too is don't sell one service, sell packages. So if you offer, a one-on-one session, make it 10 sessions. Bundle things together, increase the value. The more value people perceive in what you're offering, the more inclined they're going to be to buy, because they price value, there has to be a relationship. Yes. Right. Any other questions?
Yes. Can you share what the resolution with
Oh, he didn't tell me. He loved me. Oh no, he's living. No, it was a funny story. Do I have time to share it? We're in the kitchen. Okay, I'm still living it. And I was 32 in this. And so we were sitting at the kitchen table, and growing up, my mother always said, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love my brother. Never a problem. My father never said that. And so there was a bit of a deep pain and wound about that I was carrying. And so I remember speaking to a mentor, and he said, you can't fault your father for who he is. He has his past. His father probably didn't say, I love you. His father died when my dad was 13. So he never got to resolve that. So I believe that carried through. But I remember my mentor saying at the time, what does he have to say I love you? I said, because I want to hear it. And he says, well, what else has he done for you? So we went through this discussion, and I suddenly realized my father got up at 5 in the morning, took my brother to swimming lessons, 6 o'clock, came back home, went to work for 7 o'clock, came home at 3 o'clock, went to night school because he had to come out of school when he was 15 and to work to support the family. So he never got to finish his education. So he went to night school for years and then went to university at night and became a teacher. That's love. He was doing it for his family. Then on the weekends, my brother and I played hockey. So every Sunday morning, my dad would get up at 6, take my brother to practice, wait, bring him back. Then I would go to practice, wait, come back. Then we'd go to church. Then we'd have lunch. Then there was a nap. And at night, there was 2 games, my brother's game, my game. And this is what my father did. And so what my mentor helped me understand was it's what they do that shows they love you. And he did a lot more. I could go on and on, but it was just an aha that I was so stuck on 3 words, but I wasn't looking at how he showed love. But anyway, we're sitting at the kitchen table and I just said to my dad, you know, one day you're going to be gone. And I just want you to tell me one day that you love me. And my mother goes, his name was Hugh. My mother goes, go on, Hugh. And he goes like, shh. She goes, tell him. I said, Dad, come on, stand up. So he stood up. I said, give me a hug. We leaned in. I gave him a hug. He gives me the burp hug. And I said, I love you. And he goes, oh. And about 10 years later, we were living in Toronto at the time. We moved out west. And I built this house in Kelowna. And my parents came out to visit. And I have 4 children. And the kids were young and they're all running around. And it was time for the kids to go to bed. And so up they went. My dad was reading stories. And I'm downstairs walking by. And my dad's finishing up, turning on lights. Okay, everyone, it's time to go to bed. Good night, Liam. I love you. Good night, Brayden. I love you. Good night, Neve. I love you. Good night, Nicole. I love you. And I'm going. I guess the message got here. So anyway, that's what was this up. And then he passed away 3 years ago. I was there when he passed away. It was a beautiful experience. Yeah. No regrets, no unresolved issues. So you feel free, you feel good that you did the work to resolve those issues. I'm leaving this side over, not, I'm sorry. Anybody else over here?
Do you ever say I love you again?
My dad? Do I say it?
Did he say it to you another time? Or was it?
Oh, yeah, he did. I mean, sometimes you had to push him a bit, but as he got older, yes. Yeah. So I think as we get older, we get a little wiser. We start to realize, you know, the exit door is coming and yeah, you don't want to leave anything behind. But yeah, he was fine about it. But the one thing about me is like I've told my kids I love them every day. I mean, we text all the time, we FaceTime, but there's always an I love you. It's never not expressed. So, and I think all my kids have done extremely well because they felt loved. Yeah, and I think as human beings, that's really what we want. I mean, if we look at the world today, you know, at what's going on in the Middle East and what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, you know, it's just like those people that are firing missiles and that are engaged in this type of conflict, there's something missing. And I believe the root of it is a lack of love. There's a lack of love, lack of compassion. And without getting political, I'm trying to understand how we can spend $60 billion on weapons when we could have taken that money and bought a piece of land somewhere. Let's get you guys set up here. I said to somebody, why don't we just take the $60 billion and give them northern Saskatchewan? It's cool, but it's better than it's going on. But anyway, it's not realistic, but I think we could do a lot better as a society. You know, Shine and Crystal and I are talking about, you know, I'm helping them to take this to another level. And so, you know, one of the things I see in this community is my focus is really about world peace and love. I actually started my career in international relations. I have a degree in international relations. I actually worked in foreign affairs. I worked with a lot of international nonprofits, and I got so frustrated with the lack of production and not much was ever happening. But hundreds of millions of dollars is spent every year by countries trying to, you know, feed the world, overcome challenges in development, but we still can't seem to get the job done. And so I'd like to see this world, before I leave, I'd like to see this world finally reach peace. And I think it's going to be done through people uniting in love. And not being afraid to express it. You know, war is business. Well, it's time to stop that business. It's not doing anything. So, but anyway, that's kind of, yes.
So then, what did that resolve in, like, that purpose that was after?
About love.
But like how, what you, how just block things, like how did it show up for you? How did that?
It just allowed me to let go of the pain of not feeling love. So it was two awarenesses. One was, it was things he did that showed the love without saying I love you. But then it was, when he finally said it, it just seemed to round it all out. But it just made me feel better about myself. And I moved on. Yes.
With the other part, one finding like that, like you said, okay, he gets up at 5, he's going to night school, or everything like that. What if you can't find any of those things? Like, it says, like, yeah, I'm walking, like, I can't really see how it actually looks. Not saying that's happening.
Is this your experience? Is this your story? So, where did your father grow up?
Back.
In Quebec?
Yeah.
Right, and what was his upbringing like?
I think we're not as loving as I experienced with my mom.
Right, so your father was raised up not feeling loved. Okay, and would it be fair to say that that wasn't fair to your dad?
Of course.
Okay, so if you can find some love in that, and in the understanding that your father was conditioned that way, and wasn't able to communicate that to you, is that what's happening here?
Yeah.
Yeah, then is he still with us?
Yes.
Okay, have you talked to him lately?
Once a year.
Once or twice a year. Where is he? In Quebec? Edmonton.
Yeah.
All right. So get on a plane, go to Edmonton, and sit with him and say, you know what, Dad? I want to say something to you.
I actually did that about 3 years ago.
Okay.
I didn't get it.
What did you do?
I let it all up. Yeah, I never felt him there, and he listened to me, but nothing got done with that.
Okay, did you come from a place of, I understand
Understand
how you were raised?
Yes, I did actually.
Okay.
And I also left it from
Okay,
yeah,
Okay.
chat.
okay.
But just didn't feel like it clicked.
It did.
Yeah.
It did click. He just doesn't know how to express it. But as a human being, I've never met anybody who didn't feel it. Even though they couldn't express it, they felt it. And he knows that you got on that plane and you flew up there and you had that conversation with him. He knows. But just love him for who he is and accept him for who he is. The more you love and accept him for who he is, the more healing you'll have. You may never get the words. I don't know. Maybe you will. Maybe on his dying breath. But this is about you now. Right? This is about you healing yourself, forgiving yourself for being angry at him and just love him.
Yeah.
You know, write him a letter and put a little red heart on it and send it to him. You know, if he reads it, great. If he doesn't matter. You wrote it. This is about you expressing how you feel. I'm sure you've been to courses and done some of this work. Yeah. So just accept him for who he is. And that was a big breakthrough for me. Just accept my dad for who he is. Sure.
I just want to recommend a book or audible, The Dark Side of Light Chasers by David Ford.
Say it louder.
The Dark Side of Light Chasers by David Ford. It's a really good book about shadows. It hints about you, how you want to make peace with the past, and everybody's like, they're kind of digging into their roots of all their issues in life. But that's a really good book that talks about all these things. And I make it.
Very good recommendation, thank you. Can you post it on the site? On Unite? Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Well, I just want to say one thing. I love you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you. We love you. You're amazing. Isn't she great? She's come a long way. Congratulations.
Very long. But that's the moral of your story, is there's always the next evolution. And that was so amazing. How many of you felt that?
Yeah.
I honestly have not seen an audience that engaged in such a long time. And that is such a true testament to who you are and the work you've done on yourself. And you know, if you want to impact people in a big way, to become a leader like yourself and to work on yourself and do the work and invest in yourself, I just think is such a testament. So congratulations for everything that you've done. And you're such an amazing person. And that was just so beautiful. I literally am blown away. And I hope that you do more speaking. And not only that was your first time in 4 years, y'all better flood his DMs and tell him to get up on stage, because you have such a special gift and the world needs that. So thank you so much. We appreciate you. How can people get involved with what you're doing? I know you're raising money for a film.
Well, once I raise the funds, we'll go into production. So if you're in the film business, contact me.
Yeah. How many of you guys want to get involved in his movie? Tell us about your movie.
You can all be extras. Actually, somebody said that. I was listening to a podcast today. I was driving over here and I was listening to a podcast and they said, most people are just extras in their own movie of life. And they're not the director of the movie. That landed with me. So yeah, I mean, if you're in the film industry, you can get me on Facebook or just text me 778-888-5837. 778-888-5837.
That's me.
Let's just say live on Facebook.
So yeah, just feel free to text me if you want to get involved in the film. But give me some time. My goal is to have $20 million raised by the end of this year, and then we'll go forward. The next step is to get the screenwriter hired and contract, get the director. I've already spoken to one really good director. I won't mention the name because we're live, but yeah, it's going to happen, and it's going to be a great experience. And I will stand up on stage one night with an Academy Award.
Like, I remember when a minute ago he was up on stage. So thank you. So if you guys want to get involved, or you know anyone that would want to get involved in a heart-centered project, he's doing a film about his mentor. So come up and chat with him. If you guys didn't type his number in fast enough, come up and chat with him at the end of the evening. And let's support this community, no matter it be yourself or anyone else in the community. That's really what tonight is about, is uplifting every single person in this room. And that's why Crystal and Shine work so hard, is for this community, is for you guys, to support you guys, to empower you guys, to uplift every single one of us. So let's all work together as a community and raise each other up to new heights. So thank you so much.